the shit really hitting the fan? Well, let's think. Let's recap. We got inflation, double digits if you count it against the essentials, 8% if you believe the fake formula that the government pulls out. We've got a war in Ukraine that's gonna supposedly go nuclear any day now, according to the internet and maybe even some news agencies. We've got an economy that's, some would argue, is already in recession. Joe Biden running shit. The economy's slowing down. There's mass shootings all over the place. People are losing their minds. There's babies starving to death. And when they're not starving, they're being aborted. Either way, we're losing babies. We're in a massive drought. Biggest drought in history. We're going to see a dust bowl again. The entire West is going to become a fucking desert. Agriculture is screwed because they can't get fertilizer. Gas prices are going to still go up even though they're already high. The world is ending. The sky is falling. And now a word from my sponsor. Well, that's pretty much just sums up, because, you know, I listen to podcasts, I listen to shit all day, and I watch shit at night sometimes, although I'm usually burn out to the point where I just play fucking video games at the end of the day. But it's real easy right now to, you know, be scared out of your fucking mind. And I want a reality check. The purpose of this video is I actually want y'all to participate in the comments below. Is your personal life really getting that bad? That's what I gotta ask. You know, I want to kind of get my thumb on the pulse of my subscribers to see, is it as bad as they're saying it is? Now, yes, I want to first give you my perspective, because the past, you know, first let me go over what I've been doing. Freight has slowed down a bit, and that I'm actually getting days off here and there. And I actually, you know, I went from Suffolk, Virginia up to Syracuse, New York area completely unplanned. It wasn't a time off situation, but for Memorial Day weekend, I got to spend Sunday in Syracuse, visited some friends, you know, went to Singers, did all of that. And you know, I got to pull myself away from the internet and do an assessment during this period. Now, what I did notice is Memorial Day weekend in Syracuse, the place was a fucking ghost town for the most part. Like, there was hardly any traffic on the road. You would think people would be running around to their barbecues and whatnot. And maybe that's what they did. They just went to the barbecues and stayed there, you know, and did all that shit. The bar was packed when I went, so that hasn't slowed down at all. So yeah, if I were investing right now, I am looking into alcohol as an investment during this upcoming period of turmoil. So my observations about the economy is, yes, I've seen some hiccups with fuel too. Like, they are really struggling to make me fuel at terminals because they've already bought that in bulk, and plus they buy in bulk regularly, so that they get a better deal than what you get at the pump. Not much, but I'm sure it still sucks. But then they, of course, like I said, I believe their contracts are set up in a way that they pass that on to the shippers. Hence, there's less bullshit shipping. And there's another reason behind less bullshit shipping that makes sense is, you know, we were upping our supply and our storage of shit that we don't need, really, that people were buying with their stimulus over the course of the last 2 years, and now we have a surplus of that stuff and nobody's buying it, which is why you're seeing retail get fucked right now, is because they got all this inventory that no one is interested in buying because they're all too busy driving around their SUV right now and not giving a shit that gas is obscene. Which is my other observation over Memorial Day weekend, was people are still driving. I was in several traffic backups, so much so that it made me question my job on more than one occasion, because when you're paid by the mile and you're stuck in traffic, your hourly rate goes down, your average. And I keep track of my average hourly, and if I'm consistently doing worse than gig economy numbers, then you won't see me in this nice, pretty, shiny truck very much longer. Thankfully, you know, the other reason that there was some time between making the video is I was in a bad place because of a lot of those situations. I thought that I was pretty much fucked. But things have started to look up, so I'm actually in a good mood today. So you're getting this is a semi-optimistic video as we talk about shit hitting the fan. But I want to give you my perspective. My perspective, I got, you know, if I cut all of that noise out, all of the internet noise.
Surprise, motherfucker.
Financially speaking, I'm doing fine. I am ahead of the curve. I've got a significant savings now, investing. Not just cash savings. It's my money's making money. I've managed to, now I'm still at a loss. I'm still down 17% on my portfolio, but it was 25%. So I've been making gains. I gained 8% back through trading. I've pulled out of crypto. I'm not trading crypto right now. It's so uncertain and so volatile, and it's tied to the NASDAQ, and it crashes pretty regularly still. And even though we had a rally up to 31,000 in Bitcoin, it was 29,000 again this morning. So I think it's a bear market for crypto, and it's kind of obvious why, with all of the people that lost their ass on the Luna bullshit. You know, clearly if you lose your ass on Luna, you won't be buying Bitcoin anytime soon. You know, I'm just saying, because you just lost your ass, you don't have the money to do that, and interest rates are on their way up, so you're not going to go borrow money to buy Bitcoin right now. So I don't predict that rebounding quite as quickly as perhaps the stock market is capable of. But the Fed is dragging their feet, so that's good news for me. It's not good news for the economy or inflation, but it's good news for me in that the stock market is still having up days. You know, it's not having sideways days as much. I don't know what today is going to bring. Typically Fridays are usually down days, and I usually try and pull out on Fridays and then jump back in on Mondays. Just because a lot of people like to have their shit liquid, I guess, over the weekends. A lot can happen on a weekend that can affect the markets, so there's that. And none of this is financial advice. I'm just telling you what I'm doing, and I'm actually doing okay as far as my personal portfolio recovery goes. This week I averaged $41 an hour. Now that's not normal. Normal is anywhere between $30 to $35 an hour, and there's some days anyway where it is even lower, like $28, $29 an hour average. So I always figure that out because I want to know, obviously, that if I'm doing better than I would be doing if I was gig economying the shit out of shit. And so financially speaking, I had a good week, and the reason for the higher average this week is I got a hiring bonus that they're still paying out quarterly, and that kicked in, and I wasn't expecting it, and I was like, whoa. So that helped me, it helped me deal with the shit of sitting in traffic, 8-hour unloads at fucking shippers, and that only pays maybe $20 an hour in wait time, and it's after the first 2 hours. So I was really feeling like I was not earning the proper hourly, but it worked out because of the bonus kicking in, and yeah, we'll see. If it gets to a point where I'm only making $25 an hour, I know I can go out and have my time valued better. Now, I wouldn't make as much per week, obviously, because I wouldn't be getting the amount of hours. But I know in the gig economy, if you play your cards right, you can earn $20 to $25 an hour, and maybe even more now. I don't know if it's gone up with things, but it's a struggle. It's not
Surprise, motherfucker.
It's definitely a lot harder work too than what I do out here. So financially speaking, I'm fine.
Surprise, motherfucker.
Should probably turn that off, huh? Yeah, stock alerts. I'm losing money. I just lost $40. Yay. It's not lost. I have a couple options, and options are they're gambles, and I have an option on copper right now, and it's dropping. Which is fine. It's out till July, and I still think copper's gonna spike now that China is ending their lockdowns. And the company, I'm in Southern Copper. I think they are set to boost. So I'm actually probably going to buy, if it dips today, I'll buy the dip. Like, I didn't sell off my copper. And they pay okay dividends too. So, doesn't hurt to have them. But I did sell off a lot of my tech today just because I anticipated dropping a bit, And so swing trading is how I've got that 8% back for the most part. And it helps that the Fed hasn't raised their interest rates yet. So they're doing their part for the stock market, but if you're not in the stock market, it's not going to help you any. There's rumors that they're still going to pop 50 points on the interest rate in the next meeting or whatever, even though they said they'd wait till September. So, for those of you who don't know what that means the interest rate of everything that you finance will go up in anticipation of that too. So, I think mortgage rates have already gone up to 5% or some shit like that. And credit cards are probably 25, 30% for some people, depending on your credit rating, that is. So, I'm doing okay. I've been struggling with the fact that it's summer And I'd much rather not be in this box. I'd rather be out traveling in the Prius, hiking, seeing mountains, enjoying life, making music, making videos. Instead, I'm spending my summer in this box. And I know I'm doing it. I know I'm trying to keep telling myself that semi-retirement is the goal. The thing is, as my investment portfolio grows and the amount of money I put aside grows, I get more and more itchy feet. I could take the fucking rest of the summer, the fall, and go out and travel in the Prius and just enjoy, spend time with friends. I'm missing out on all kinds of parties and gatherings and fun that people who work local and aren't in this box get to participate in. I've got a friend lobbying me to get a local union part-time job that pays quite well. We're talking, I think, $35 an hour, but after 8 hours it goes up to $55 an hour, so that probably averages out to about $3 or $4 more an hour than I made on my best week, which was this week, whenever I work, that is. I still also have the option to go casual for this company, which I'm leaning towards because I don't want to have to redo my physical. That's the biggest obstacle, is I know my health isn't the greatest, and it doesn't help that I'm eating like shit, which I still am. I'm the heaviest I've been since I've lost the weight. I'm 227 pounds, but that's been fairly consistent the last 2 times I've weighed myself at home. So I'm not, going up at an accelerated rate, at least. There's that. And at some point, when I'm out of this truck, I will get back on the horse and lose all of that weight back. I know I can do it. I've done it before. I'll do it again. Will it be in time for any health consequences? We'll see. I'm supposed to get labs in August. So, because of my vitamin D thing, my doctor wants me to go in and get labs done. They called me yesterday about it. So, we'll find out, Blood pressure has still been roughly the same, barely on the edge of failure. And I've done nothing. I didn't take vitamin D pills. I'm getting a lot more sun. I'm drinking milk. So I'm getting vitamin D intake a lot more than I would be if I was at home. So there's that. But overall, I'm sitting back here and I'm saying, right now, personally, my economic life is fine. I could take a road trip if I wanted. I can buy things that I want if I want to. I'm a minimalist, so I don't have a lot of room to put shit. But, if I want something nice, I can get it. There's not, other than a synthesizer I'm looking at, I'm not really interested in buying anything else. I've got all of the computer shit I need. I've got the Xbox, so that kind of entertainment's locked down. I own my Prius. I've kind of given up the fantasy of upgrading to the Toyota Sienna. I think that the opportunity cost of paying $45,000 plus the prices might even come down on that as the economy does contract. I think overall my situation is I'm debt free. I'm good to go for a repeat of a 2008 scenario, which I was in the truck during that time. A lot of people are saying it's going to be worse than that. But so far, I think we've already got one foot in the door of where we're at financially for a recession. I do think we're going to have the recession, even though some people are still saying no. But I don't know if it'll be as bad as they're saying. A lot of doom and gloom on the internet, and I've even posted some videos of doom and gloom. But I want you guys to tell me in the comments, are you experiencing the same doom and gloom? How are you doing? How is your life going? How's your finances? What steps did you take to weather this storm that we're supposedly going to get? I still do not think we're going to get nuked. I mean, it could happen. I'm not ruling it out entirely. I don't know that anyone takes Biden seriously with the stupid shit he says. They've walked back a bunch of things, but there are some war hawks that are escalating things, and we might be in a direct involved war at some point. But I still don't think that the elites, the oligarchs, are going to let the nukes fly. And you notice I say they're not going to let the nukes fly. Everyone's still under the impression that, the government is run by the government. No, the government is dictated by corporations and the stock market. Just look at Nancy Pelosi and her drunk driving, insider trading husband. I mean, it doesn't get any more obvious than that, how decadent and disconnected from life that these motherfuckers are. But the fact is, they are still going to rob us blind through inflation. If they're not robbing us through inflation, they're robbing us through taxes. They're spending. I don't even know how they get away with it. It's fucking. They're thieves. They're thieves. They're with the printing of money constantly. We just forgave a huge student loan debt for a college that arguably fucked over a bunch of people. It was just one college, so don't panic there. But that's money that we're printing that we don't have. They've already spent our money. My money's been spent by the government 10 times over. Like, if I were to live 10 lifetimes, the amount of debt, my portion of debt, if you were to divide the national debt up amongst all people, I could never pay that off in my lifetime. They're spending your great grandkids' money. And at some point, I don't think it's now. I think we got a little while. We'll see how November goes. But at some point, that debt's going to get defaulted. And when that happens, that is when literally society will break down. Shit'll hit the fan. It'll be Mad Max out here. Food shortage wise, I'm not seeing it. Yeah, baby formula is noticeably bare on the shelves, but I've been in Walmarts all over this country, and I can tell you, I can still get ribeyes. They're expensive. I don't buy them very often. Plus I haven't felt like cooking that much. I tend to eat my ribeyes in a restaurant at this point, which is way expensive. That's gone up significantly, but I can afford it because my paycheck went up with inflation. I don't buy gas myself because I'm out here all the fucking time. When I'm home, I put $20-25 in the Prius, and whatever that gets me, it gets me, and it usually is fine for 2 home times usually. I have a 6-day home time coming up, so we'll see how that goes. I might try and go out in the woods. I'm on the fence about it. Honestly, it'll depend on weather and what I got going on. There's some other things that I need to get done that might not allow me to go out into the woods. But we'll see. I'm itching to do something cool, And if I don't go out to the woods in this home time, I might schedule a South Dakota home time in July. So we'll see. Yeah, I'm thinking 4th of July in Rapid City would be fun, because everyone's very patriotic there. There'll be lots of fireworks. There'll be, all kinds of cool shit to do, I think, and 4th of July weekend in South Dakota. So I'm kind of eyeballing that. And then I have to come back in August to New York for my medical shit. So all in all, I'm okay. And I got to keep telling myself that after listening to the bullshit on the internet and the mainstream media. You got to realize that fear generates clicks, and clicks generate revenue, and right now people are more desperate than ever in the content creation sphere for revenue. So is the mainstream media, so is everyone else. If they can sell you the latest and greatest doom and gloom and and stand on the graves of children to do so, which I'm pissy about. I'm not talking too much about it because I don't want to be on that bandwagon of profiting from these tragedies that everyone seems to be, seized on. The only distraction we had, which was a win in my book, is the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial. I kind of like that he won. That makes me happy. That's one less L that society is taking in my book, and I think, I don't know, we're seeing a pushback against the woke, and although Canada's taken away all their firearms, I don't see it happening here. I see enough reasonable pushback against the Democrats standing on the graves of tragedy victims to push their political agenda forward, and that's to take law-abiding citizens' weapons away and not do anything about the crime and the criminals, being tougher on crime, securing our schools a lot better. These are all things that should be bipartisan as far as that, but taking guns away from people who obey the law, probably a bad idea when you got criminals running around who have no regard for the law. And last I checked, murder is a crime, and mass murder is a crime. And if they're willing to ignore the laws associated with that, which tend to carry the harshest penalties, I really don't think they're going to care when you tell them they're not supposed to have a weapon. And that ship has sailed. You're not, what are you envisioning? You envisioning a massive confiscation of all firearms in this country? Yeah, you'll be able to take them away from the people that legally got them. But what about all the illegal weapons that are out there that all the criminals already have? And not only that, they have the capability to make them and modify them on their own. They have the skills. They have the knowledge. They have the equipment to do all of this on their own without consulting Joe Biden or Nancy Pelosi or Chuck Schumer. They're not going to come to you before they do this heinous shit. So the solution is lawful arming of people in my book. And I guess I side with the conservatives. I'm a libertarian, but I side with the conservatives on this. And the only reason we have freedom is because of that. If we were a disarmed society, we would not have freedom. Guarantee you. They would have way went overboard. And I argue they did in the last 2 years, taking our constitutional rights away. And they're still trying to. And they'll keep trying to. That is not going to change anytime soon. So, I don't know. I'm having an optimistic day. I feel like things aren't as bad as everyone's saying they are right now. Am I deluding myself? That's why I want you guys to comment below. How bad is it? And I'm talking about for your personal life. Don't just regurgitate the fear crap that's coming out all over the internet and telling me how, all of this is, the sky is falling, the world is fucked. How are you doing? That's what I want to know. I want to know, how has current events affected your life? Are you broke as fuck right now and can't buy food? Or, and some of you do have hard lives. I've, talked to a few of you in the chat when I do these premieres, and I know that some of you are indeed suffering at the hands of this economy. But I'm here to tell you that there are still steps. There are still steps you can take to improve your situation. If you're willing to downsize your life, especially. But some of you even have already been forced to downsize your life. And it's going to be harder to get out of debt. If you're still in debt, it's going to be harder to do all of these things in this economic environment, for sure. So I realize that. But I think we need to talk amongst ourselves for a change instead of relying on the internet to tell us how shitty and fucked we are, and actually figure out how we're doing. You know, do things suck? I feel prices suck. I see it. But you know what? I still see people driving as if nothing's wrong. They're bitching. They'll stick that fucking pump in their pipe and they'll be like, motherfucking bastard. And then, you know, they'll keep driving all the places they normally drive. I don't think it has stemmed people's appetite for getting around, especially after a couple of years of not getting around for some people. But I know that just means they're not going to spend money on things that maybe they don't need as much. They're not going to have as much discretionary unless, you know, another thing I think counteracted this inflation, and I don't know how long it'll last, is the Great Resignation. A lot of people refused to go to work, so that drove wages up. I mean, you're seeing like $20 an hour at places like McDonald's in some places in this country, which is probably about the equivalent of $12 an hour back in the day, you know, and people will adapt, I think, because you're not curbing their desire to consume. That's the thing that it has to be really bad for that to go down. We have to be, I think, in a Great Depression level to reduce consumption. People will run up the credit cards to do this. People, you know, probably are in some cases. Are you doing that? Are you spending shit on credit to make up the gap? You know, are you going into further debt because prices are too high right now? I know that there's a lot of people that do that. You know, they fill in the gaps with their credit cards and then they get gouged 17 to 25% depending on their credit rating. And that's going to go up to how much they're getting gouged by the bankers. You got to take yourself out of that. I am in this position to weather the current storm, you know, and maybe even if it gets a little worse, because I'm debt free, I owe nothing, and I'm not really super happy, but I'm okay. It could be worse, we'll just put it that way, you know. And I do things that in my life that some people never get to do. And I'm trying to raise my self-awareness of that hearing the doom and gloom all day, you know, if I just focused on that, I'd be like, fuck this. I ain't going to stay out here. I ain't going to keep supporting all of this. I'm not going to keep, you know, fucking pouring my time that's going to have less and less buying power going forward. It's fucking nuts. Am I gonna get trapped in this place? It's like, hope I don't. I wanted to just stop and make a video, make a breakfast sandwich in the microwave, but apparently I gotta now wait for this guy to get towed. Is that what's gonna happen? So I guess I could back out of here. So I'm sticking out for another couple months. Let's see. It's getting hard to stay out here. I really could take the rest of the year off if I, based on what I have right now, if I lock in where I'm at financially and don't play the stock market in this volatile time. I could theoretically just live off of what I've already got and manage to put together, but then I wouldn't win. You know, I wouldn't get... The goal is to be able to take a couple years off without having to hop in a truck or be part-time for that matter. So I'm really struggling to stay out here and keep plugging away, keep investing. This is a good week for me because I can invest a lot more than I normally do per week. I think I've been averaging 30%, 40% of my income to investments right now. I been trying to make that more efficient, but I've been buying shit, I've spent shit, I'm enjoying some of my money too. I enjoy not being broke. And I'm not broke. That's the thing. I know I'm not broke. It feels like I'm gonna be broke with the way things are going, listening to the news and the financial news and all of that. And I have to do that to know what to do with my investments. But as of right now, I'm sitting on, I've lost $800 total. It peaked at like $1,100, I think, of losses on my portfolio. So I'm chipping away at that. Actually, I think it's lessening. I think I've dipped down into the 780, 790 range. We'll see. We got to see how those options play out. I don't really know until those either work or don't work. But I don't have a lot riding on that. That could be a $300 loss if both of those options became worthless, which I don't anticipate happening. At the very least, I'll be able to sell them at half value or whatever at some point, perhaps, depending on the market. I haven't lost on an options trade yet, so we'll see. It requires patience for options. And I'm going to keep plugging away. I'm keeping my investing going. I'm buying shit when I think it's low and it's about to bounce. I'm selling shit when it hits the, resistance lines. And, I'm riding the waves because it is volatile right now out there. And it is, I still think it'll trend up at some point and we'll get that 25% back. And my theory is if I keep buying during this period and we get that 25% back, that the stock market overall, I think, is dipped. Some more than others, obviously. I think the S&P only lost like 18% total. I don't know, somewhere in there over the past 3-4 months. It's about getting up. It's about buying the dip, but it's not going to be, not going to find the floor. If you're consistently dollar cost putting money into the market during the down times, if we get the boom cycle, it's a boom bust cycle for a reason, and it's happened multiple times, and I don't have any reason to believe it's a question of how long it takes versus my time. And that's the other thing I'm looking at. I'm 46 right now. If we enter a 3 or 4 year recession, okay, yeah, I could probably weather that and come out on top. If we get a 10-year depression, like they did about 100 years ago, that's going to suck. That means I wouldn't see a return on my investment till my late 50s, almost 60, if I live that long. Which, if I'm in this truck for too long, that's a stretch. I saw a trucking fatality the other day. Some truck pancaked their tractor, slamming into somebody parked on a shoulder, it looked like, and they had to have been going fast to pancake the tractor like that. They clearly didn't make it, and stuff like that is just, that's that eye-opening. Now, granted, that was probably an error on that driver's part, both of the drivers, because you're not supposed to park on the shoulders, but where else are we going to park out here, especially when you got shit like this going on? I don't know. I don't know that I could weather a depression. I would probably cut my losses if it looks like we're not going back up at all at some point. But there's some things going for us. Like I said, people's wages did go up, but there might be layoffs. If we end up in recession territory, there are people who maybe got hired on making 20% more per week or per hour or per year or whatever. But that doesn't do you a lot of good if you get shit canned because the company needs to tighten the belt. And that will happen if they raise interest rates. So keep an eye on the Fed. If the Fed decides to do what we did in the 70s to combat inflation, you are going to see job loss. The good news is they're probably not going to do that before November. That's what that whole fucking dog and pony show between Biden and the Fed that just happened, that was all just a kind of, please don't fuck me for the election. That's all of that meeting was. He didn't give them any, advice. It was just kind of saying, you need to kind of do something so I can get reelected. That's what that was all about. I don't understand how Biden still thinks he's going to get reelected at this point. I think even the Democrats want some other Democrat in there. That if he gets reelected, then I'm pulling out. I'm done. If he gets reelected, or if the Democrats don't take a beating this November, I'm going to pull back. I'm going to be like, okay, I'm done working for these motherfuckers. I need to figure it out on my own, make less money so they can't tax me as hard, take advantage of all the fucking free money that they're going to throw at people, until it all collapses. Because I'd rather be the one receiving that money than the one paying the taxes. And oh my God, am I paying fucking taxes right now? And it pisses me off because I know they're wasting that money. That money was wasted actually years ago. That's the fucked up part. They can't waste any more of my money. They can take more of it. They can steal more of it. But they're never going to pay off the debt. Not until they stop spending. They're going to have to cut spending, and they won't do that. It's like giving a fucking heroin addict unlimited access to heroin. They're going to keep doing it until somebody takes their ball away, So, we shall see. But what the fuck do I know? None of this is financial advice. I'm just telling you, I'm doing okay. I may not act like it sometime. The last couple videos were really black-pilled. I'm feeling better today. Slightly more optimistic. It won't last. I can tell you, there's something's going to piss me off in the next couple days. Happens a lot out here. So I'm doing okay. I hope you're doing okay. And that's really what I want to know. Am I the only one doing okay right now? Is everyone else really fucked? As far as my friends go, he seems to be doing okay. And he's in debt up to his eyeballs. He's doing all right. My friends seem to be holding it together. And they're still doing all the shit they normally do, as far as I can tell. They're just bitching about it more. That's about it. It's the only thing I've seen change is more bitching. But they're still doing their shit. They haven't changed their life. They haven't changed their habits. They haven't downsized. They haven't, really tightened the belt that I can see. Maybe they have and they just don't tell anybody, but they're still doing a lot of the same things they always do. So, question is, are you doing the same things you always do? What did you have to change? What have you done to change in the face of this inflation, which we've been swallowing now for quite a while? And you would think if it had a detrimental effect on your life that you would right about now be seeing that. I want to know what that is from people, regular people. I don't want to hear it from Fox News, CNN, NTD News, or all the doom and gloomers on the internet. So, he wants me to move. Yeah, he was saying he'd let me out now if I wanted. Otherwise, it's going to be an hour, and I still want to make lunch. So, yeah, there's that. I'm taking like a full... It might take 2 hours. I don't know. Maybe I'll edit this video. I got time. They haven't given me another load yet, and this one can be there anytime today. And I got a couple 100 miles left to go. So, yeah, I'm not making shit tons of money today. But I'm not working hard today either. As opposed to some of the other days. But what the fuck do I know? Because I'm not an expert. I'm just an asshole. Please like and subscribe for more shit. And I'll make more shit. I don't make a lot of shit right now, because I've been doing a lot of this shit. And when I'm home, I honestly haven't felt like making videos because I want to do everything else because I'm home. I'm time off. When you escape the box, shit piles up when you're out here that you want to get done. You want to hang out with all your friends because you haven't seen them in a while. You want to, be there for your family. You want to go do things. You want to spend some of the money you made, and enjoy yourself, go out to dinner, stuff like that. And none of that involves working on videos. So that's why I don't film a lot when I'm home. Maybe I can crank one out during my 6 days off, and depending on how busy that ends up being. So, thank you all. And to those of you who still donate to the channel, which I've told you don't have to because I'm making good money on this. It's nice to be rewarded for my work on here. But I'm not working hard on here. I'm not cranking out lots of videos, so I don't expect you all to be donating. But some of you still do, and I appreciate that. I know I did turn on the super thanks thing. And I noticed I just got my first super thanks, so thank you for that. And Susan thanks you too. She gets 30% of that. It's great. Gotta keep the platform lights on, I guess. When I get out of the truck, when I get traveling and semi-retirement, I'll go back to content creation, of course, and that includes the podcast. I know some of you were disappointed that I couldn't continue the podcast out here. I just don't have the time or the energy in some cases, to work 60-70 hour weeks, and then sit down and research for a podcast, and then record a 2-hour podcast, and then do all of that. When I am out of the truck, more than I'm in the truck, that will be the time I ramp up my content creation and shit talking again, and we'll see, if I'm even capable of growing. I was excited that Elon was going to buy Twitter, and now he's trying to back out. From what I could see, I haven't heard any news on that lately, but it's not looking good for that. So unless I go over to Truth Social to post shit to try and grow, that's the problem. YouTube isn't going to let me grow anymore. That ship sailed years ago. I've been at the same subscriber count forever now. So, it is what it is. This is ultimately going to be a semi-retirement channel, I guess, where I kind of talk to you about being a nomad and doing nomadic things and minimalist things and being debt-free and how to financially prepare for shit. And I'm not an expert on all this. You're just going to watch me struggle and do these things. Some of you give good advice. Some of you give advice that I don't follow. Like, for example, a lot of people told me to get out of the market and just hold cash right now. Well, if I'd have done that, I wouldn't have made back the 8% I've already made back. That's the thing. I can't just sit on my hands and miss this opportunity. If we are in a recession, this is when everything's on sale. This is the time to start a portfolio. If you already had a portfolio, yeah, maybe you pull it out for now and then slowly start putting in. But you forget, I've only been at this a little while. I only jumped into the stock market when I came back out here. So yeah, I bought some of the shit while we were in the bubble, and that bubble is burst, and that's because a lot of people had loans because of 0% interest. A lot of people had stimulus money that they invested, and now they're pulling it out. As you know, I made a lot of money investing my stimulus checks in Bitcoin. I did all right, and that supported me not being in the truck. But towards the end there, the margins got uncomfortable for me. Too thin. I was dipping down below $1,000 at one point in my account. And when that happened, I was like, I need to get back in the truck. I need to build a pad back up. I've worked my way through it, and I wasn't bringing in a lot on content creation, and of course I got fired from Singer, so that wasn't part of my deal anymore. So I was relying heavily on the gig economy, and that's not lost on me, because I thought because of the medical shit, if you recall, failing my DOT physical, I hunkered down and I signed up for every fucking app I could. I was doing Roadie, I was doing Uber, I was doing Lyft, I was on my way to working on DoorDash and a few others, and of course I would be getting into Amazon Flex too, because that we have 2 Amazon warehouses, fulfillment centers opening up in Syracuse. So yeah, I was gonna work the gig economy to stay afloat if I couldn't do this. And then, lo and behold, I was able to pull off passing my physical for getting the 2-year card, which is why I'm leery about jumping ship, because this might be my last 2 years. You know, I don't anticipate fixing my blood pressure with the way I'm eating and the way my lifestyle is and all of that. I'll have to do it later. And so I want to be in a good position in 2 years when my medical card starts to expire. Because if it expires and I can't get another one, then they will take my CDL, and it'll be as if I don't have it anymore. So I'd have to go through everything again, which is ridiculously stupid. You don't forget to work out, on a truck just because you can't pass your blood pressure. Having to do all of that over again is a New York State money grab if I ever seen one. And if I did ever do it again, I would not do it in New York State. I'd move to another state, and South Dakota would probably be 10 times easier to get a CDL in than New York, and definitely cheaper. But for now, I still want to do my residency change. That's still on the table, but I'm probably going to wait until I'm retired to do that in the retirement period. Because as you know, it's going to be semi-retirement. I'm always going to be doing something to maximize my time. Time is the thing that is not changing, people. You only get so much of it. And you may feel like the world's going to end and they're going to shorten your time, and that just makes the time that much more valuable. Don't fuck it and squander it. If you're spinning your wheels right now, giving inordinate amounts of time to corporations and the man and the government, and you're not taking time for yourself and to enjoy life in any way, shape, or form, you're going to lose. So you should be taking steps, and some of it might be buying less plastic shit, having a lot less square footage in your house. These are all things that you can do to reduce the amount of time you gotta spend earning money to pay for that shit. And the less of that you have, the less of your time you have to give to the government and to the man. And that's my philosophy for semi-retirement, I've already got 4 years of not working for the man under my belt, and I'm still only 46. I hope to have at least 10 years of semi-retirement under my belt. That's 10 years of not working for the man. I'm still going to do work. I'm still going to do gig economy shit and content creation, but I'm going to get to do a lot of the things that retired people do while I'm still healthy enough to do them, instead of waiting until I am in the fucking medical field, essentially waiting to die, which is going to happen at some point. My blood pressure happened despite being keto for as long as I was. Now, granted, I did some cheats here and there and fucking fell off it a few times, but that I should still be in way better shape than I am blood pressure wise. So that could it be a genetic component? Could it be a coof thing? I don't know, because I did have all 3 variants. That could have fucked it up. Could it be that I'm just too fat right now and maybe that's why? I don't know. We'll see. But I know I don't have forever. I don't know I have unlimited amounts of time. So I want to spend it wisely. And to me, wisely is honestly traveling, road trips, doing things that are once in a lifetime type things. I still want to go to the Grand Canyon. I still want to go to Glacier National Park. I still want to go to Yosemite, even though it's in that shithole of California. I still want to do the Appalachian Trail. I'm too fat to do it right now, but I wouldn't be by the end of it. That's if I survived it. These are all things that I want to do, and I ain't going to be able to do them at 65. So that's my goals. And I ain't going to let Biden fuck that up for me. So unless he provokes Putin to nuke us, I'm going to do everything I can in this fucked up financial environment to profit from this that I can, because wealthy people are made in these dips. People make their wealth in these dips. There's a lot of people that lose their wealth in these dips, but at the same time, I'm in a position to really make a dent in that amount of time I have to work, if I can stick it out in here. And I got to keep telling myself that, especially as my investment portfolio grows, it's going to be harder and harder to stay out here for me, because I know what I could do. I know how little I can live on, even in today's inflated environment. I know how to deal with a lot of this, unless it gets super like Great Depression level, then it probably would suck. But if it's just a recession, I've been through one already. I've been through a couple technically, but I was a kid for one of them. And there was one in the 90s, I think, if I remember right, under Clinton. I don't remember, but it didn't affect me at all. 2008 really didn't slow me down that much. I spent a lot of time sitting, and I had bills back then. That was back when I had, tried to do the stupid thing of maintaining a life, because back then I still had goals of, relationships and all of that stupid shit that wasted my fucking time. Not bitter or anything. I wish I had that time back. I wish I did the things I'm doing now back then. Oh my God, I'd be so far ahead. But I can only work with what I got. I had to learn the hard way. And so many other people had to learn this same thing the hard way. If you're young, I would say do what I'm doing now, and you will definitely be better off in the future. That stay out of debt. That's invest, make your money make money, or invest in yourself and start a business if you're able to do that successfully. If you have a skill that you could turn into a business, or if you don't, maybe get yourself a skill that you could turn into a business. And that doesn't mean you got to go get student loan debt and go into college. No, you just got to learn how to do shit. That's all on the internet to learn how to do shit. Find something, get good at it, and somebody will pay you to do it. I did it with photography. I've done it with videography. I've done it with so many things. I've done it with podcasting. I've done it here on YouTube. Now I wasn't successful, as in I wasn't able to make it my full-time living, but having all of that in my wheelhouse, all of that in my breadbasket, I was able to, when push came to shove, when I wasn't working for corporate America, I was able to prolong the amount of time that I spent not working for the man, that is. Did a lot of hard work during that. Weddings suck as a photographer. Those weren't fun. DJing had its moments and sucking, and of course Uber and Lyft are a pain in the ass. That's hard work in my book, not to mention it takes its toll on your vehicle. But other than that, now some of you, I'm going to get that comment, that driving ain't hard work. Well, fuck you, all right? This is work, all right? It's not being home doing what I want to fucking do. It's being in this box and working long-ass hours, not enjoying life out here, I can tell you. I get a day here and there where I'm sitting in this box and doing my own thing. But for every one of those, there's 3 of the days where I'm just working, watch some shit, and go to sleep, or play a fucking video game for an hour and go to sleep. It's not all fucking roses out here, but it's what I have to do now so that I have more time later. And if I get a snowball going in terms of my investments making money and becoming an income stream, if I can continue trading momentum to where I can be a profitable trader, I can add that to my wheelhouse when I'm in my semi-retirement mode, and maybe my job will be just to watch the markets and, buy low, sell high. I mean, it's not hard. The hard part is figuring out what's going to go up and down. That's the hard part. It's not easy. And it is work. You got to do your homework. You got to keep up with news. You got to keep up with economics. So, I don't know. Tell me what you think. How did you deal with this shit? I still hate the Democrats. I still hate Joe Biden. I want to see every single one of them voted out. That's assuming our election system isn't fucked up. I'm sure it's fine. I'm sure there's no issues there at all. I'm sure we're going to have complete, fair, and honest elections in November. There'll be no skullduggery whatsoever. You can have faith in our system. It's doing really good. I'll at least squeeze some time out before it all fucking hits the fan. That's it. But some of these preppers I've been watching are ready to fucking, like that economic ninja that I promoted on here, that one of you sent the link to. He's gone full shit hits the fan. He's ready to fucking roll up everything and go out into the woods. It seems. A Canadian prepper has been talking about us getting nuked for months now. Everything that happens in Ukraine is the end of our life, then the beginning of World War III. I think he's underestimating what the elites, the input that they have on what's going on, and, who's behind these, both sides, really, So, people aren't in a hurry to self-destruct. And if there's a war in Ukraine, it's not just servicing Putin or the Ukrainians or us or anybody else. It's benefiting somebody at the expense and tragedy loss, tragic loss of life. But there's somebody behind that. There's somebody that's profiting from that war. I'll leave it up to you to figure out who that is. Have a nice motherfucking day. Shit, look at that. You got a full fucking video out of me today. It's because I only had 6 hours to work today. And I don't have a load yet, so maybe I'll have a weekend to not do shit out here. That's the hard part too. Being out here in this box, getting a day off and then not really getting to enjoy it that much. At the best case scenario, I could park at a fucking Walmart, go to a fucking restaurant, get even fatter, and then that's it. That's my day. It's too hot to hike half the time in a lot of these places. Hot, muggy, and it's not worth it. I'm not getting a lot of exercise too, so that doesn't help. I don't know. I'm sure my next video will be a complete shit show where I'm upset and pissed off and everything. But I just wanted to make a video when I'm having a good day. And right now, the exception of whatever this shit is, I'm having a good day. As soon as I need to get around him. But he should be out of here soon. We'll see. I don't know how he's going to pull that fucking thing out. Nobody's parked on the other side. Fuck. He's having a really bad day, that guy. I'm having a better day than this driver in the Penske rental truck. Just saying.